Title: In court, my wife's boyfriend, a lawyer, laughed. "The judge is my friend. You're leaving this room with nothing, soldier." My wife smirked. "He's too scared to even speak. Look at him." Start. He laughed in my face, the kind of laugh that only men drunk on arrogance know. "The judge is my friend," he said, leaning back in his chair, fingers tapping the polished wood like he owned the place. "You're leaving this room with nothing, soldier." My wife smirked at his side, arms folded, head tilted in disdain. "He's too scared to even speak. Look at him." I looked. Not at them, not at the paper he slid across the table, but at the small twitch in his hand when he pushed it toward me. Confident, too confident. He thought the war was already over. I didn't sign. I didn't even reach. I just sat there, silent, because silence is where power grows. Once, her hand fit in mine like it belonged there. We built a life, brick by brick, shared coffee in cheap mugs, shared nights under thin blankets, shared dreams whispered in the dark when rent was late and the world didn't care. I fought overseas while she fought loneliness. At least, that's what she told me. I believed her. I trusted her. I bled for a country, and I thought she waited for me. But coming home was the real battlefield. The signs were quiet, perfume that wasn't hers, late nights that stretched too long, a laugh on the phone that never reached her eyes when I walked into the room. I wanted to be wrong. God, I begged to be wrong. Then I saw him, the lawyer, his hand brushing her lower back as they stepped out of his car. My car. She had taken it while I was at the VA hospital. That was the moment. The cut went deeper than any bullet wound I ever carried. And in that pain, something shifted inside me. I stopped being the victim. I became the architect. Soldiers are trained to wait, to watch, to use silence as a weapon. While he flaunted his influence, I studied him, his patterns, his weaknesses, his debts. A man like him doesn't climb without stepping on throats. I found the throats. Old clients, judges he thought were loyal, deals that weren't as clean as he made them look. Every lie leaves a trail, and I followed his. Meanwhile, I moved my money quietly, set up accounts offshore, bought land under a different name. She thought she was bleeding me dry. She thought I was cornered. She never saw that I'd already removed everything of value from her reach. Evidence stacked up in my favor like ammunition waiting for a trigger. I never confronted her, not once. Let her think I was weak. Let her underestimate me. Because the best strike comes when the enemy thinks you're already on your knees. Courtroom day. He sat smug in his expensive suit, papers ready to strip me of everything. She sat beside him, eyes sharp, lips curled in triumph. I let them laugh. I let them believe. Then I placed my file on the table, slowly, deliberately. Inside, documents, transfers, recordings, photos, messages. A web of deceit they thought invisible. The judge wasn't his friend anymore, not after what I handed over. The bribes, the tax fraud, the falsified evidence in other cases. I'd compiled months of his sins into one neat folder, and I slid it forward like a gift. His laughter died in his throat. My wife shifted, confusion breaking her mask. The judge's face hardened. "You want me to sign?" I said finally, voice calm, cutting through the silence. "You'll be the one signing. Confessions, settlements, please." The lawyer stammered, trying to gather himself, but predators don't know how to act when the prey bears fangs. He had built his empire on intimidation. Mine was built on patience. His crumbled first. The gavel hit harder than a gunshot. His case collapsed in front of everyone, disbarred, facing charges. The same courtroom he ruled with arrogance turned into his cage. And her? The judge read aloud the evidence of her collusion, her forged signatures, her attempt to siphon assets with him. Everything reversed. The house, the accounts, my pension, all restored to me. She sat there, pale, shaking, whispering his name like he could save her. But he couldn't even save himself. I watched the fire drain from her eyes, the smirk gone, the certainty gone. She had bet on a crooked man and lost. I walked out of that courtroom not as the broken husband they mocked, but as the man who dismantled them without raising his voice. I didn't need revenge shouted in the streets. I needed it written in the law, carved into the records, undeniable and permanent. They thought silence meant weakness, but silence was my blade. And when it finally struck, it cut deeper than they ever imagined. I left them there, one disbarred, one disgraced, together in ruin. And me? I walked away whole. War taught me one truth: the loudest men die first. The patient ones always win.